Wendell Moore Jr. was a 5-star recruit and the 24th ranked high school prospect nationally when he committed to Duke in November of 2018. Moore went on to play 3 seasons for the Blue Devils, steadily improving and earning a larger role each season. This past season, Moore started 39 games for a Duke team that marched all the way to the Final Four before being eliminated by North Carolina. Moore wasn't typically the focal point of a Duke offensive attack that featured likely lottery picks Paolo Banchero, AJ Griffin, and Mark Williams. But he was efficient in his role, finishing the season with shooting splits of 50, 41, 81, and now finds himself in the conversation to be a late first round or early second round pick. The first strength for Moore is shooting. Moore did not show up at Duke as a strong shooter. His freshman year, Moore shot just 21% from beyond the arc on less than 1 attempt per game. But this past season, Moore turned into one of Duke's more reliable long-range shooters. Moore shot 41% from 3 on just over 3 attempts per game. He did a great job spacing the floor for Banchero and Williams and made defenses pay if they committed extra resources to the paint. Moore isn't the most dynamic shooter in this draft right now. He's more of a spot-up specialist. But he is comfortable running to a spot and getting his feet set quickly to fire up a shot. In the NBA, Moore will likely continue to serve in this type of role on offense. Run around the perimeter, space the floor, and knock down the open looks that you get. Moore thrived in this role at Duke. Hopefully those skills will transfer to the next level. The next strength for Moore is defense. Some people might be skeptical of Moore being able to hold up the 3 end of the 3-and-D wing bargain. But if the shot is for real, then he'll be perfect for this role because he's a very solid defender. Moore doesn't pick up a ton of blocks or steals, and he's not out there falling down trying to draw a charge on every possession. He just goes out there and makes life difficult for whoever he is defending because he has some good physical tools to work with and he's technically sound. Moore is on the smaller side for a small forward at 6'5.5", but he has a plus 7-inch wingspan at 7'1/2", and is strong, weighing in at 217 pounds. Additionally, Moore is quick and keeps himself in front of guys on the perimeter, forcing offensive players to go through him if they want to score at the basket. Moore might not get much recognition for his defense early on because he doesn't make a lot of splashy plays, but I think he'll be an NBA-ready defender from day one. One final strength for Moore is playmaking. Duke didn't really have a true point guard this past season, so they kind of went with a point guard by committee approach. Moore filled in admirably when asked to take his turn running the point, finishing the season leading the Blue Devils in assists. Moore reads the floor well and makes some very nice passes that at times have a high degree of difficulty. He isn't amazing at breaking down defenders and creating opportunities for kickouts, but he's athletic enough that if he gets a good screen, he can get downhill to the basket and then playmake from there. I don't think Moore will ever be a primary playmaker for a team outside of maybe Summer League, but he certainly has the potential to be a useful secondary playmaker in the NBA. One weakness for Moore is finishing at the basket. Moore is a solid athlete. He's quick, reasonably fast in the open court, and can get up and dunk it if he's open. But he's not quite athletic enough to consistently finish over guys around the basket. This wouldn't be as much of an issue if Moore was bigger, but being on the smaller side for an NBA player, he will have to rely more on touch to finish around the basket. Right now, Moore just has okay to good touch around the basket. Moore seems to really like getting to his right hand whenever possible, and when he's forced to the left side of the basket, he runs into issues finishing. When he can get to his right, he's better with his touch, but he's not great at creating separation, leading to blocks and difficult attempts. Moore will likely be asked to spend more time around the perimeter in the NBA, at least early in his career, but he'll want to be able to cut and attack closeouts and finish consistently as well. Another weakness for Moore is shot creation. Moore is a good shooter when he's spotting up and getting the ball dished out to him, but he isn't very good at creating his own shots. He can handle the ball decently and, as mentioned earlier, has solid athleticism. He just doesn't quite have the ability to create something out of nothing on offense, at least more than just a flash in the pan here and there. Moore will need to be in a situation where he isn't being relied on as the focal point of an offense. At Duke, Moore took a backseat offensively to Banchero and Griffin, and sometimes even Mark Williams. He played off of these guys to get opportunities to score for the most part, and I believe at the NBA level he will need to rely on a similar system to get buckets. This first clip gives us an example of Moore's ability as a defender. The play starts with Moore backpedaling in transition as the last line of defense between the offensive player and the basket. Moore turns his hips and slides down the lane on the drive. He then stops as he gets underneath the basket and jumps straight up. He ends up not only making the shot difficult, but blocks it out of bounds. This play displays Moore's ability to use both his discipline and instincts on the defensive end to make things difficult for offensive players. This next clip shows off some of Moore's skill as a playmaker. The play begins with Moore receiving the pass at the top of the arc. Moore immediately attacks the middle of the zone and draws the attention of basically the entire defense. He then flips a nifty pass out to his teammate on the wing for a wide open three. Moore might not be a true point guard, but when needed he has the ability to set his teammates up in good positions to score. This final clip displays how Moore can struggle to finish at the rim. The play starts with Moore getting out in transition with the ball in his hands. Moore attacks the three Syracuse defenders backpedaling in the paint and splits the defense to get an open look at the rim. Rather than going for the left-handed layup on the left side of the basket, Moore elects to lay it up with the right hand with his back to the basket. The ball rolls around and falls off the rim. Moore is a good but not great athlete by NBA standards and doesn't have elite touch around the basket at this time. We'll likely see plays similar to this one from Moore in the NBA, especially early in his career. Wendell Moore Jr. looks the part of a 3-and-D wing that could be a great addition for a contending team late in the first round. Some may not trust Moore's shot yet after one strong season in college, but if he continues to be a solid shooter in the NBA, he has a nice floor as a role player. That being said, I don't think the ceiling is super high. Moore isn't a crazy athlete and hasn't shown much ability to create his own shot. If he displayed either or both of these qualities in college, I might be more inclined to believe he could go to another level. But that certainly doesn't mean Moore can't be a good NBA player. I could see him being a starting caliber player for a good stretch of his career with his current skill set. I just don't think he'll ever be a star. My NBA comp for Wendell Moore Jr. is Josh Hart. Hart is an efficient 6'5" wing that plays good defense. Like Moore, he can take on some playmaking duties, but he's at his best playing away from the ball and spacing the floor.